Hi guys, it's me Alex, your founder and your dispatcher from Dispatch Training Center. I just want to talk to you. Let me see what we have here. Well, first I want to make sure that I congratulate all my students who finished the training yesterday. We had our practical sessions. It wasn't easy. Well, why? Because the market is it's not in the favor of dispatchers. But let's go back to the reality. And the reality is that as a dispatcher, you really need to have that logical thinking. When we talk about multitasking, I'm not asking you to be able to do 10 things in the same 5 minutes. What I'm asking my future pro dispatchers to do is to have the ability to make the decision while you checking what's going on. So let's give you an example. Let's say you try to book the load. Yesterday we were trying to go to East Coast, and from Chicagoland to go to East Coast, we all know that you need to be at certain rate per mile for you to be profitable when you come back, right? East Coast is never pay, and we're talking about New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Delaware. So usually when you come back to strong Midwest, while you're not really going to get that $1.80, $1.90, $2, $2.10, well, let's be realistic. You are getting $1.30, if you are lucky, $1.50. So for you to average that rate per mile to go to East Coast, then your rate should be at least 280, at least 290, and that's what you have to do. So when you are booking to go anywhere, first you have to see what is the paying coming out. Let's say Chicago to Memphis, Memphis to Chicago. You need to make sure you average it together, right? So multitasking is not about getting crazy, typing, writing, listening, answering. Multitasking, it's in your mind. Well, you calculate really fast. You make the decision. Maybe you stall. Maybe you start speaking a little bit slower, ask personal questions. Why? Because you do need to post your truck in Memphis for tomorrow and see. Should you send him to Memphis? Well, if Memphis showing only 100 loads for flatbed, and let's say Indianapolis is showing 800 loads for flatbed, well, of course, you should go to Indianapolis. So as a dispatcher, you have a lot of skills that you need to polish. But remember, you don't have to get stressed out when you calling about posted load. Let's go one more time through the questions, right? So what are you gonna to ask? Well, first, you have to sound confident. You have to sound like you are still having energy. Maybe you are tired already. Maybe you are overwhelmed with dispatching nowadays, but you need to have energy, because when other person is answering that phone call, well, they want to hear. I see Igor is joining me right now. Hi, Igor. How's trucking doing? So if he calls to the broker, and let's say he's been driving all night and he's tired, and he's gonna say, oh, calling about load, is it still there? Well, who is gonna answer? Well, most of the people are gonna hang up. So you as a dispatcher, you need to have that vibe in your voice. Well, calling about posted load, is it still available? Can I have a details? If you see that broker is kind of lost, give them details. You have the reference number, you have the load number. You can help him out by telling, well, this is a reefer load for today, for tomorrow, for Friday, for next year, right? So validate, what are you calling about? Well, if the load is available, the next thing is, what is the most important thing? If you can get to pick up on time, correct? So the first question is going to be when this load is picking up. As a dispatcher, you for sure know where is your driver. Is he going to be delivering tomorrow? What time is he delivering tomorrow? What type of receiver do you have? Is it going to be strict receiver? Is it going to be first come, first serve? Because you already know you actually send the driver for delivery tomorrow or today. So first thing first, what time is the pickup? Then you need to make sure when is it going to be delivered. Why is it important? Because transit has to make sense. We don't want a load where you have to fake that ELD and drive like crazy, right? I know that some of you still faking it, but still, transit has to be realistic, correct? So if we picking up in Chicago today, when are we delivering in Boston? Of course not tomorrow. We're delivering 2 days later, or it can be the night on the following day, but it cannot be tomorrow unless you have a team. So transit making sense. So look, 2 questions. First, calling about posted load. Is it still available? Can I have the pickup details and delivery details? And here is the biggest tip for my new dispatchers. Make sure you verify zip codes. Don't just settle, oh, it's picking up in Chicago. Chicago is a huge mega city. Usually you're not picking up in Chicago. You need to know which part of Chicago, right? Do you want to go to Millennium Park or do you want to go to outskirts of Chicago? So always zip code. When they're giving you that zip code, ask one more time. So am I picking up in Bolingbrook, Illinois? Am I picking up in Bedford Park, Illinois? Am I picking up, let's say, in Franklin Park, Illinois? Am I picking up exactly in Memphis, or this is a West Memphis, right? Is this Atlanta, or this is a College Park, Georgia? So make sure you validate that information. And don't stress out. This is your job. You verifying details. And if the broker is giving you a hard time and he start having an attitude, well, you know what? You can actually tell him, sir, ma'am, I'm doing my job, right? So unfortunately, I need to make sure I know the pickup and delivery. So that is done. Pickup makes sense, delivery makes sense, you can pick up on time, transit is good. Now, what do you need to worry about? Well, commodity. What are you going to be hauling on your truck? Is that commodity actually is on your policy? Maybe it's excluded. So what is excluded? Hi, Nadia. Today we don't have insurance meeting, so we are doing dispatch. So exclusions. Who needs to know the exclusions? Well, exclusions, you need to know as a dispatcher. Let's name few. For example, electronics are exclusion. Alcohol usually is exclusion. While medical supplies, pharmaceutical, auto parts is exclusion. Electronics is exclusion. What else? Precious metals is exclusions. Blueberries usually is exclusion. Even carrots are exclusion. So you as a dispatcher, you need to know exclusions on the policy for your carrier. And if you ask your carrier and he has no clue, well, you need to make sure that they have to call the agent, and the agent will send you the full list. Another commodities which is excluded for if you are working with a reefer, well, this is going to be seafood, right? Seafood, fish, seashell, it's going to be excluded. A lot of times fresh beef is excluded. So guys, I see Nadia's watching, I see Igor watching, make sure that fresh beef is included in your cargo policy, because by default it's excluded. Why? It's high value commodity, right? So a lot of times we pay for insurance. Happened to me years and years ago, right? And when we thought that we're gonna have a claim, I figured out that I don't even have a coverage for fresh meat. So talking about the agents nowadays, talking about all the scams and how they cover all of this, well, you have to verify. Nowadays, you have to do this. So now you figure out the commodity. The next important thing is going to be, how is this going to be loaded? So there is 3 ways of loading, right? It can be floor loaded. And if you're a pro dispatcher, you will never settle for that. Why? Floor loaded. It's hard to secure. Floor loaded, this is a high liability because you're going to have damage to that cargo. It's going to shift during the transit. So usually, how can you say nicely to the broker if it's a floor loaded product? Excuse me, sir, but my company policy, our company policy, we cannot haul floor loaded product. Why? Due to the damages. And believe it or not, they will be talking you into it. They're gonna say, don't worry, the shipper is gonna secure it. Guys, I'm telling you, 90% of the time, you're gonna end up with a claim. Okay, so that was floor loaded. Then we have bulk product, right? So bulk usually is what? Potatoes, onions, sometimes carrots. It can be bulk cotton seeds, nonsense, right? It can be other stuff. For example, recycling materials, right? All that garbage they throw in your brand new dry van. So do we really want to deal with it? I know that sometimes reefers, when you guys go to Idaho and you're in upstate Minnesota or upstate Maine, or maybe you are in Colorado, somewhere to Pueblo, Colorado, or New Mexico, sometimes you are willing to take those bulk potatoes or onions. And it's okay. You just have to remember that first, you need to scale a certain amount. You need empty scale ticket before and after. And of course, ask for reimbursement for washout of your trailer because it's going to be dirty. And remember, your driver has to agree to dig out those potatoes out of his floor in the reefer, right? It doesn't take 5 minutes. It's not that easy. So make sure if you deal with the bulk potatoes, bulk onions, you know that. So what is the best way to load our trailers? Palletize, 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 palletize. So this is the only way that we want to deal with, right? We want our best load. One pick, one drop, which we call one-on-one. We want palletize load. Why? Because it's faster loading, unloading. It's easier to secure. And of course, we need to make sure that we watching for our weight. When you hear that it's more than 40,000, always verify if pallet count is included. And for new people who are watching me just now, well, let's help you out. For the dry van 53 feet, we can put 26 pallets if it's a single stack, multiply by 2 if it's a double stack, so it's going to be 52 pallets, and average pallet is 50 to 70 pounds. So do you see how important it is to ask, is that 42,000 including the pallets? And how many pallets are going to be there? So far, we know when it's picking up. We know when it's delivering. We know the commodity. Let's say we are picking up macaroni and cheese. It's going to be palletized. It's going to be single stack. Or maybe it's going to be double stack macaroni and cheese, not that heavy. And total weight with the pallets and all the stuff is going to be around 42,000. You are going from Chicago, you're going all the way to Boston. In Chicago, you have flexible shipper, first come, first serve. But in Boston, you're going to CNS, very strict receiver. Right here, red flag. Do you have appointment schedule already? Ask your broker. Do you have appointment schedule? If not, well, do we want to book the load with TBD, to be determined? No, no, and no. And I'm telling you, because most of the time, appointment time is not going to be what they promise. Plus, if you're not going to be there on time, the strict receivers, strict shippers will always charge you late fees. So you went through the details. Now it's time to negotiate how much, right? How much are they gonna pay you? And usually if the rate is posted and you know that it's nonsense, well, you can say, I see you posted for 650, I see you posted for 2,000, I see you posted for 31, but for my company to justify, for us to have ability to do it, to hold this load, well, I need to be at 22. I need to be at 1,000. I need to be at 3,000. Always tell them what is your lowest. So let's say start from 25, they pay 25, you ask for 3, usually they're gonna say, well, it's too high. Then you ask the next question, well, what is your best? Well, they're gonna try to go, oh, I can do 26.50. Well, put them on a hold. Pretend that you have so many people behind you. You have managers, you have approval team. Well, it's only you and you, right? Roll your eyes, look at the ceiling, maybe look at your beautiful little truck here on your desk. Come back and say, well, unfortunately, my manager is not willing to settle. We can help you a little bit and I can meet you at 28. You have to always be higher than they are offering. Don't just settle, because that's how those cheap loads are getting booked, right? So you negotiate, they sign your rate confirmation, and here's the second part for you as a dispatcher. Well, now you need to verify all the information. You need to make sure that whatever you were talking about is still on that rate confirmation. Pickup time, delivery, shippers, receivers, zip code, even the rate. Pay attention if it's assigned to you. A lot of times we are actually receiving rate confirmation which was assigned to different carrier. So verify all of this. Well, hopefully guys you learning something. The reason for this live was, again, I wanted personally thank everybody who been supporting us on YouTube, because yesterday we got our 100K subscribers. 100,000, it's almost there, right? It's a big number. When some people say, oh, it's not that many subscribers, some people have million. Well, for me personally, it's a big achievement, and I could not do it without you, without every like, without every comment, share. So guys, make sure you go back on our YouTube. Make sure that you start commenting and putting the likes and sharing, because we are here to change trucking for the better, together with you, together with a dispatcher who took our classes long time ago, with dispatcher who just finished the class yesterday, with a dispatchers who signing up for our upcoming class in September. But only together we can change this industry for the better, through the education, through the ethics, through being professional, and understanding that sometimes the no, this is the best decision you can do. You don't want to book cheap load. You don't want to just get rid of your truck. As a dispatcher, you need to have a plan. So that's why keep watching, keep learning, keep improving. Do not just settle for whatever you can see on load board. Build communication skills. Utilize brokers' load boards. Start connecting to the brokers and start pre-booking. Because again, if you still depend only on the load board, you're not really a dispatcher. A pro dispatcher is a person who books half of their loads through the communication with the brokers that they work previously. It's the one who goes and does extra step, posting the equipment on all the brokers' load boards, right? You guys know you have ability to post your trucks on TQL, on RXO, on CH Robinson, on Trinity, on any load board out there, right? So utilize it. Make sure that you are a proactive person, because this is your job. Well, thank you guys. I will be finishing because it's time for me to go home. I love my office. Look at the beautiful Chicago for people who never visited us. Hopefully I'll see you. I'll see you one day in my office. But for today, well, we are done. We are learning. We are celebrating. And we are actually thankful to each one of you. Stay connected and always support each other. Love you guys.